Hello, I just wanted to make a really quick vlog just because through watching other people's vlogs, some stuff has been on my mind. The first thing has been weight loss, weight gain due to gastroparesis or something like gastroparesis. I'm not gonna outline my journey. That's so frickin' played. Here's my journey for you. I present to you my journey. But anyway, my weight gain has been heavy on my mind just because I'm very unused to being this weight. I have never weighed this much in my entire life. Now, I'm not a woman that's been able to have children, so that is one of the reasons why at 32 I was still able to be fairly small. I've always been hippie, but I'm just not very comfortable at this weight. But I try to remember myself that it's a blessing because due to the gastroparesis I had, and this is why I sort of want to say it, because I'm hearing a lot of things from different people about worrying about having lost too much weight or worried about having gained too much weight, just in the things I've been watching. For me, in June, I dropped below 100 pounds. I mean, it got bad. I think June might be, in recent years, the worst it's ever been. You know, my parents called my brother home, and my mom and dad didn't sleep for 10 days because I was so sick, and at the end I was paralyzed, but I was having a major, gastroparesis problem because, things weren't digesting, so eventually your body vomits them up. Well, then, that starts, once you start vomiting, the problem is it triggers sort of your nervous system if you have autonomic problems, and then even if you have nothing left to vomit, your body keeps vomiting. It's sort of like the reason some of us have 4-hour myoclonic jerks that send us to the hospital. So once I started puking with any regularity, I couldn't stop even once I was past fluid and bile and all that icky stuff. So, in June, my parents called my brother home. They didn't sleep for 10 days because I was paralyzed and they had to hold me up so that I wouldn't aspirate on my own vomit, and strap me to a board that was upright so that they could get some sleep. And even from being down a short period of time, they had to I had to sort of learn to walk again on my legs because my brain, it wouldn't trigger. So anyway, what I wanted to say about weight loss and gain, and what I say to myself about my gain is, when a time like that comes again, which I hope it doesn't, but I just sort of know it will. I've had little bouts of it since June, but nothing of that caliber. I will have padding. I will have a ways to go. In June, I dropped below 100 pounds, and I'm a 33-year-old woman in the midst of birthing age, and that just shouldn't happen, and it didn't look good. And, then they put me on 7,000 calorie a diet day so that I could hold down some of it and lots of meds to sort of force me to hold food and other meds in and that kind of stuff. And I gained way more than maybe if I was below 100, maybe the 25, 30 pounds I should have gained, I gained probably 45. Now, the protocol for me, with the Yes oils and the medium chain triglyceride and coconut oil mix, has helped me to lose a little weight. It's not going off fast, and it's not harsh on my body, but I have been able, since I started that protocol, well, I haven't been weighed, but because it upsets me, so I don't weigh myself at home because that's just silly. I have to focus on other things. But the last time I was weighed, which was probably 2 weeks ago, and so at that point I'd been on the oils a little over 2 weeks. Anyway, I had lost 7 pounds, and I, had lost them slowly and not harsh way. So that's a really great protocol for me. But anyway, this rambling mess, I just wanted to say, even our jacked up bodies try to find balance. And if you're at one end of the spectrum on weight or the other, it's going to bounce back and forth. And we just have to learn to be okay with that. There are times that we just don't want to eat, and we have to learn to re-eat or relearn to eat, and we have to force ourselves to eat, and then once we get in the habit of eating, we don't want to stop because it's been so long since it's something we were able to enjoy. So then it's going to yo-yo. But everyone here is so beautiful for so many other reasons that why should that be our concern other than it being unhealthy? If it's a little bit one direction or the other, it's just so silly of us to try and limit ourselves to that type of perception of beauty when you all are just gorgeous on the inside and out, because the things from your insides are just radiating out of you in a way that I appreciate on the daily. Oh, okay, here was the other thing, or another one of those things. Adventures in driving. I'd seen a couple people talking about driving this week. Now, I haven't really driven. I think I've driven 4 times in about the last year. My eyes and ears cause problems. It's difficult for me to even be the passenger in a vehicle. Sometimes it causes major seizure activity. Sometimes it's just the noise and the visual, and I'm very panicked because my depth perception is sort of bleh, and so riding in the car is bad, so I don't drive very often, and when I do, it's been very short distances. But I've been wanting my parents to sort of get a break. They got some flu shots about a month ago, and they both sort of got a little sick, and they are exhausting themselves with my care and living their own lives too. So anyway, this week I drove. I sneaky hid the fact that I needed a blood draw, and forgot to pre-schedule a ride with anyone else, and I didn't want to tell my dad. So I drove. And I prayed the whole way to the clinic, and I prayed the whole way back. It went okay in terms of remembering to be able to drive and staying in my lane and stuff, but it was just too freaky. It was like being on some kind of illicit substance and trying to drive. I just maybe shouldn't have done it. It was an adventure, though. I was proud of myself for surviving, but I just think I can't drive that far on my own again. Maybe very short trips somewhere, but so those of you that can't drive, I totally hear you, and those of you that do drive on the daily, I have no idea how you do it. So, and really quick on that topic, I'm going to talk about my parents a little bit, maybe on the Love Pharmacy, if we get on that topic, just because they got flu shots and they got sick, and that was sort of normal, but we've had some weird stuff happening with specifically my mother and panic when things happen with me lately. I think it's a combination of, I've had a few really scary things happen in clinic. Things were a lot more scary, I'm not complaining, a lot more scary in the late spring, early summer, and really less winter too, but they were a lot more scary. But I think she's getting tired because she sort of, when she gets scared for me, shuts down and doesn't make much sense and can't function very well. And it's not me being crazy pants. It's her stress level being beyond a copable level. So I'm like a little raccoon or squirrel. I'm trying to hide things from them now, which I don't like, but I think it might be in their best interest. What else did I want to talk about? Okay. Oh, here's this weird thing I've been having going on with numbers, and that's not been the case before. I've experienced a little of the Lyme dyslexia in the last year, so sadly I can't read like my books in huge clumps of time, or if I do, I reread pages. That's sort of a little more of obsessive stuff, but I did have a chunk of time there where I had dyslexia, where the words were floating around on the page or sort of reversed. Some of that's sort of starting to come back a little bit, and then I'm having a hard time with time. I gave up on like old-fashioned, I don't know if the right word is manual faced clocks instead of digital clocks a long time ago. I get really confused trying to figure out what time it is. Makes me feel like such a dumb blonde, but like something happened in my brain where I have to spend a lot of time counting and figuring out what time it is. So it's been mostly a digital situation for me. That happened around the time when the Lyme autism got really bad, when I started having trouble recognizing the faces and voices of people because the autism was bad, or maybe dysautonomia, I don't know. Anyway, but now with digital clocks, I'm starting to have this thing where, for example, if it was, well, I don't know if I have a great example, but I've found myself the last week or so thinking it's a different time that it is, and I will live a whole hour and I keep checking the clock because it doesn't make sense to me that it's that time. Like, it's 3 in the morning, for example. Right now it's not, it's almost 5 in the morning, but it's 3 in the morning, for example, and I live under the assumption that it's 11 p.m. Now, I know that it was just 2 an hour before and that 4 is coming up, but to me the clock reads at the wrong time. Like, it'll invert. Like, it says 4:53 now, which makes sense to me. But if it said something like 4:11, I think it was 11:04. And I have to look at it several times to figure it out. And it's not just like the clock on my computer. I will live in a different hour than the rest of my time zone for a full hour while I'm trying to figure out what the crap's going on and what time it is. Does that happen to anyone else? And I felt like there was something else. Oh, my epilepsy is starting to pick back up. I've had some good times. I've been having tremors, of course, and the early stage Parkinson's that has been induced by the Lyme creates those. The only creepy thing about that is now sometimes I tremor without knowing it. I mean, I can see it. I can look down and see my hands trembling, but I don't feel it, which sort of freaks me out. Feeling it I thought was annoying, but careful what you wish for, because not feeling it's even scarier when your body's having a big to-do and you don't even know it. Oh, on that subject though, I was in cosmetology school, which is why I had the severed head in my last video. And when my symptoms got super duper bad, and I had fair control of my hands, but oh, it was so funny to see it look on a client's face when I'd tremble over like Katharine Hepburn with shears in my hand, like, you're gonna touch me with sharp things. So anyway, today I had a really bad seizure. On the daily, I have little tremors and my clonic jerking and stuff like that, but I think it is, because last year this time it got really bad again. I think it is the change in the season. No, because I do have cold makes me start shivering, and shivering makes me start jerking. And then once I start jerking, my nervous system takes over and I'm screwed. So do the rest of you experience more frequency with your seizure activity as it gets colder? Please let me know that too. So I'd like to know if you guys have the clock thing and the seizures changing in the cold thing. And I felt like there was something else that really motivated me, like in watching someone's videos, but I don't, of course, remember what it was. I thought about writing things down and then thought, nah, I'll wing it, and this is what happens. So I talked about weight gain and driving, which is a huge no-no for me, and I don't know what it was. Ah, well. Oh, well, Christmas. Christmas is something I can't seem to think about. I have this, you know how you get those weird, creepy premonitions? I can't think about Christmas. Before Thanksgiving, even commercials would come on the television for Christmas stuff, and I would just start bawling. Be a happy little commercial, too, and it wasn't that happy, wimpy, girly, happy sob. It was bawling. it feels like my subconscious knows I'm not going to get to have a Christmas. That doesn't mean I think I'm going to pass away or whatever. But it feels like my subconscious knows I'm not going to get to have a Christmas. But, I will have a Christmas because those that are Christians know that particular thing is not. I mean, if you're a historian too, it doesn't actually happen in December, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, Christmas will happen. I just don't know if I will get to celebrate it. So I'm having a hard time, thinking about it because I think about it and fall apart. That little ramble made me want to think of something, and then, of course, it ran straight out of my head. EO. I don't know. Anyway, I think I probably am going to be talking about stuff more. I mean, I'm always here blathering, and I think it's really important to stay positive and to focus on other things in your life because we are not our illnesses. But I think sometimes I tend to err on the side of distraction, and that's a good thing. But being forthright about what's going on is also a good thing. I never lie here, but I omit a lot of things because I want to focus on happy things. And so I'm going to try and find a new balance, strike a new balance, be able to do something simultaneously goofy whilst sharing what's going on, because I feel like I learned so much from you guys being so forthright with your symptoms, and I admire it and think I might like to be a little more like that, at least on a daily basis, with more frequency. Maybe talking about Christmas will help me. So you guys think about maybe some of your Christmas traditions, and I'd love to hear about them in the comment section. And then I'm dead serious. Here's something I do. Okay, I smoke, which some of you know, and I shouldn't. And I'd managed to quit for 2 years. And then I did a show in which we were supposed to smoke pot. Of course, that's illegal where I live. So we smoked rolled cigarettes, and I was hooked again. And then the amount of pain it can take away from me is even more addicting than the nicotine. So it's disgusting, and I know, and I'm bad, and you don't have to tell me. But I go in my garage and smoke because I don't smoke in my house. And I bring my laptop, and I have a karaoke party because it's something I used to love to do, and I used to sing for my job, when things in my body worked and stuff like that. So there are all sorts of really great karaoke songs on YouTube, and those that would like to participate, because there's a lot of goofy, fun, musical sorts, I think we should have a little karaoke festival. Do favorites first, and then maybe do kamikaze karaoke where we draw something somehow randomly and have to sing it. We used to love doing that. But anyway, just a thought. This is a really long vlog, really, really, really long. So love and light and hugs and kisses. And thank you for listening to me ramble if you made it this far. Kiss and kiss.